What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm coming to y'all with another Mental Health Monday YouTube video. So today I will be answering questions and doing the mental health tag, which I'm actually super excited to do. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Number one is, what is your mental illness? So my mental illness, which I don't really consider a mental illness, just kind of a stop in my life, is going to be depression and anxiety. Question number two is, when were you diagnosed? So for me personally, it's kind of funny because technically I wasn't diagnosed by like a specialist or a doctor or anything like that, but I was very symptomatic around the age of 14. So like late middle school, early high school, those early years or stages in my life. So I think probably around like 2014, 2015, somewhere in that area. Question number three is, who knows about it? Well, I don't go up to people saying, hey, I have depression, hey, I have anxiety. But I'm not closed-minded about it. If somebody asks, I will straightforward tell you, or if I feel like I can connect to you on a certain level, I will input my experience of depression and anxiety and a little bit of bipolarness into pouring into the person if I just feel like we're connected or like we're on that same type of stage. So I would say I'm very open about it. So if you're close to me, or if I feel like it will do you good to know that I have that or that I'm suffering from that, I'll definitely go ahead and like bring it up, you know? Question number four is, what treatments have you had? When I was 14, so about a year after I started feeling depressed and just very sad and lonely and all of those triggers and different stuff like that, I actually started seeing a counselor, Valley City's clinic, and that's where I got all my treatment from. So I was talking to my counselor, I think like I started at once a week and then I moved it up to twice a week, and I did that for about 3, almost 4 years. So it was very, very interesting. Question number five is, what is the hardest part about living with your mental illness? So personally, I feel like for me, my depression really like comes and goes. Like it was very hardcore that first year, but after that, and I figured out what my triggers are and like basically what sets me off, what makes me sad, and like things that I can prevent myself, like things that I can do to prevent myself from feeling prevent myself from feeling depressed. But in terms of my anxiety, the only thing that really sucks is that even though I know my triggers, it kind of just happens, because for me it's really catering to like loud noises or like sudden sounds that are like high pitched or like very noisy or like a lot of commotion or like a lot of stress. So I really don't really know when my anxiety is gonna hit like hard like that, versus depression where I kind of know and I can really shift myself into not feeling depressed. But anxiety, it's very like on guard. Like I just never know, honestly. Like I never ever know when it's gonna come or go, versus depression where it's like, oh, like I'm gonna do this because I don't want to be depressed today. You know, like it's just like anxiety, man. It's the worst. Question number six, last but not least, is, what is something interesting that you have found about your recovery? So my mental illness journey really started when I was about 14 years old, and just to look back at everything that I've gone through, all of the trauma, all of the counseling, all of the very uppity up and down feelings, and just literally just the whole process. And I'm now 20, and so just looking back at the past 5 or 6 years and really pinpointing and figuring out what my triggers are and figuring out what I can do to not feel depressed, figuring out what I can do when I'm feeling very anxious or when I feel like my anxiety is really just going to attack right then and there at that moment. It's just very interesting to see how much self-doubt I had back then, but how confident, and of course I still do have a long ways to go. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. My anxiety is definitely not in my control, but I do have procedures and I have steps that I now know that I need to take in order to not feel a certain type of way, or in order to put myself in a better place. And really just knowing when to say no to people, knowing when to not doubt myself, knowing really just when I need to take a step back and really just think about the things that I'm doing, or figuring out and thinking about things that are really just going on around me. And also looking back at counseling and just really having so much self-doubt is just very interesting to really look back on. And I have notes in everything from all of my sessions that I ever had with my counselor. So it's just very uplifting and very motivational and very interesting, like really, really interesting, y'all, to look back on and see, wow, I was feeling that way a whole year ago. Oh, wow, this was like 3 years ago. So I'm going to be 21 this year, y'all. So it's like, it's just so inspiring, because when you remember when you were at your lowest point, it's like, wow, look at where I am now compared to where I was. And I feel like a lot of the time we don't realize it, but we're our own inspiration. Like, you've seen yourself when you've been at the lowest of your lows, y'all. And now look at you. You may not be at the highest of your highs, but you're in a better place than you once were previously. So it's just like, I need everybody to give themselves a round of applause if you are in a better place than you were yesterday, a month ago, a year ago, a few years ago, even a couple of hours ago. Like, honestly, give yourself a round of applause, because it's not easy to go out there with any type of mental illness, with OCD, with anxiety, with depression, all of that stuff, y'all. And we live in a very judgmental world, so a lot of people laugh at the things that we go through. But I would just truly say, be true to yourself and really just figure out who's on your team genuinely. Not for the clout, not for anything that's very dismissive. People who are insensitive, gotta go. They just gotta go, y'all. No matter how hard it's gonna be, you gotta let them go, because at the end of the day, your mental health is something you should be taking very seriously. It's something that is very, very important, a huge part of your life. And yeah, like, yeah, y'all, it's just so amazing to think about where I am now compared to like 3 years ago when I first started this journey and when I first started experiencing depression. It's just personally very inspiring for me, and I can't even physically all the way put it in words. It's just kind of a feeling, and I'm just kind of in awe, like wow, I've really come a long way, y'all. And it's just amazing for me to see it, for me to think about. Like, anywho, that is all I have for y'all today for today's Mental Health Monday video. Thank you so much for listening to my mental health tag of 2021. Comment down below. Let me know, what mental illness do y'all have? If you have one, do you know somebody who has a mental illness? How do you deal with your mental illness? And if you are suffering, feel free to reach out to me. My email and all of my socials are linked down below. I would be very, very open and extremely happy to assist, or just talk and have a one-on-one with anybody who feels like they're struggling, or just wants somebody to talk to and feels like they don't currently have that. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Mwah. And I hope to catch you guys in my next YouTube video. Bye.